Braum has been selected, so I like that. They're like, all right, we're not 100% sure. We can't go for the sort of lane that can be counterpicked. Maokai does well against basically everything, so safety first from KT.
Yeah, the GP was left available though. Smeb not opting in for that one. Of course, historically, Pawn in Telecom Wars past has played that champion as well, but if Ornn gets a free lane, that feels pretty damn good, and Effort is going to lock that one away for Tal on the top side.
Maokai gets a free lane. He will also be able to come in and guarantee some initiation, so super initiation from both the Maokai and the Ornn in the top side. Small chance that Score flexes the Maokai to jungle, but whenever we've seen that attempted in Korea, it hasn't worked, so most likely going to be the Jungle Jacks that Score has already played. Didn't really feel like Faker would get frisky and go for the Vladimir. It's a big popular pick in solo queue, even if it's been kind of top lane Vladimir only in the LCK. So teamfight comp from SKT. KT Rolster have good initiation and teamfight options as well. Whenever you see the Ezreal here, you really want to see him to get snowballed to make this draft work. And another look at the Jungle Jacks. That seems like Korea-only special at the moment.
Yeah, brilliance in SKT is the fact that they got to see what the matchup was, right? And then they could switch over to the Ornn, make up their decisions later. Seemed like the top lane wasn't going to be a place that was going to be under a lot of pressure, so easily able to make that one happen. And then the Vladimir into Azir, which can be punishment early for the Vlad, but otherwise you just wait on a little while and everything is generally fine. This is two teamfight compositions, though, butting heads. Not this time do we see the teams with different identities moving onto the Rift, both of them wanting to gun for about similar timings of where they want to fight.
I want to see Score be really creative with the Jungle Jacks, the ability to path, the ability to gank from huge range that most other junglers can't, sort of maybe a Zac with some levels, gives you a lot of flexibility. I feel like he's the big wild card here. Otherwise, let's get down to business, Atlas. It's time to go to Game 3 of a Telecom War, one of the highlights of the year.
Yep, it's terrifying times if you're a KT fan, because often you don't see a victory. We might this time around, though. Let's hit the Rift. SKT fans, they know there is certainly power in their court when we're in this situation. 1-1 between KT and SKT.
You see the blood in the water, Atlas, and how can you not? Like you were alluding to, history makes for not good reading for KT fans since the start of 2017. Every best of three have gone to 3 games, but regardless of whether it was a Game 1 or a Game 2 victory for KT, it was always a Game 3 victory for SK Telecom T1. Very strong teamfight draft from them in this game.
In fact, it was a Game 3 victory for SK Telecom every single time, even when it was a 3-0 in the best of 5, even when it was a reverse sweep. Just seems like you get to number 3, KT doesn't really know what to do.
But there is a number that changed, and that is the year. It is 2018. This is the chance for them to remove the shackles of the KT almost manhood. Did not make it work with what was deemed a super team at the start of 2017. See what can happen here. Pawn was talking up a very big game, as we'll know. He's also showing a big game, as you're laughing about. Has gone for the Easyhoon SKT Azir skin, trying to get in the head of Faker. But Pawn had said, this is my year to stand up. I feel like I really am the top-tier mid laner who can compare myself to anyone in the world. Obviously, subtweeting Faker in many ways with a comment like that. So he's very much saying that he needs to stand up and be counted. Don't think he covered himself in glory with the series so far. Now's his chance.
Well, Deft, he's got the Pulse Fire Ezreal. We'll see whether his Ezreal is going to be able to stand up to Bang's Kalista. The Varus was not enough. And this is Bang's Kalista, remember. Of course, this is in the game. I just feel that you immediately have to feel like you're on the back foot. As SKT just navigate around these Kalista comps, around Bang, so beautifully well. But this is 2-threat comp versus 2-threat comp. We've got tanks aplenty on both sides, and then Pawn and Deft for KT going to be doing all of that damage. Faker and Bang going to be taking care of it for SKT.
And that's clarifying that, you know, you see Jackson, if it's solo queue you're expecting Bloodrazor and the Trinity Force, but we're in competitive play, so heavily expecting this to be the tank Jungle Jacks debuted by Everate winners Malrung. which is basically going full tank. You know, Righteous Glory might be thrown in there, Cinder Hulk as a start. The thing that it does provide is from level 3 onwards, with a ward, you can ward jump, flash, you have very long engage range, and the counter-strike, that AoE CC. You can gank mid from directions that only really Rek'Sai and Shaco can because of your flexibility. So there's a lot of options to gank as the Jungle Jacks, and you have decent base damage just with your passive attack speed and also your ultimate providing you with auto attack reset damage. So this is the part where Jungle Jacks comes most online. A huge level 3 power spike above many, many other junglers, but good vision from SKT and a control ward also will spot him out.
Well, speaking of being spotted out, Blank also going to be discovered by the tree, roaming into the jungle. You can imagine he's pretty comfortable. But Smeb and Tal actually having a decent time. Tal with a minion wave gathering up for him to take down, but it looks like Smeb has been with a lot of control. Sort of early in the preseason, Maokai was seen as utter dominance and sort of one of the easiest champions to really win lane with on the top side of the map.
So another reason that the tank Jax is possible is press the attack. Means that he will be able to have a bit of damage just from his R procs as he has done those extended trades and can proc it pretty quickly. Not quite Shyvana, but at decent speed. So it feels like the runes also help out this more tanky Jax. Blank's mid lane. There is no Jax shadowing him, so definitely man advantage for the side of SKT.
Yep, still, Pawn playing to his vision. Control ward down on the bottom side. Blank is going to move his way out. Faker also standing well back, just waiting to pick up this minion wave as it heads under. Score moving over, wants another Rift Scuttler. It's just scuttle destruction here for this guy, able to get a lot of damage in with that CC that's down.
Unsealed Spellbook Kalista. That's what we're seeing here. Trying to get those extra backs. Feels like AD carries really only pick it up for the teleport and then just swap it for the heal later in the game, but the extra backs are very high priority, given the back timing, backing on a cannon minion, all the other things that all you bot lane mains out there in Twitch chat know all about can be subverted with the ability to teleport back into lane.
Yep.
Can take a bad trade and still not be punished by the ability to TP back in.
Minion wave location for backs not going to be as much of a priority. We saw, of course, Faker having to move down towards the bottom side on the Corki in game 1. That's not a problem now. But I do like that you bring that up. It means that SKT do not want to have that horror early game that they did experience in the bottom lane in game 1.
In general, this game is seeming slower. I feel like this might be the long game that we've been denied today, Atlas. We haven't seen the big 4 when it comes to a 40-minute game, and this is the LCK that currently is averaging around 43 minutes. So
thanks, Jinair.
Yep.
SKT.
They have solo been helping out for sure, but it's still been the norm rather than the rarity. Here we will see that teleport back in. Welcome back, Kalista. Vamp Scepter purchased.
Effort as well, actually taking a lot of damage.
I wonder
hold onto that wave.
I wonder if you just lane as KT until 6 and then try to Abyssal Voyage back to lane to get a pseudo teleport of your own.
Yeah, that's a cute way of doing it. Kleptomancy, of course, way too good on the Ezreal.
Does delay your tier timing and your Miramana timing, but it's the only way that KT can actually get preferential backs. Could also be that Def just gives up on it and goes back and buys tier and Sheen and gives up a minion wave, and given how far he's backed, it does seem like no need for the semi-global this time.
Got a red pot as well using that Kleptomancy. A couple of stacks of gold there as well, so the tier and the Sheen are able to be purchased.
6 items. Feels good, Ezreal.
Yeah. Keeps the red pot, decides not to sell it to try and get a different item. Of course, feeling very good with this current back though. I actually love the feeling of Sheen tier. Not quite a full man immune, but that sort of requires you to get some kills.
Would love to see what sorcery Faker's opted into. Ultimate Hat is very popular on Vladimir, just because you can get that ult on a very low cooldown. The Gathering Storm was flavor of the moment in our earlier games today, so wonder if we'll be seeing that on him. Goes in on Pawn.
Yeah, Pawn's just going to be able to get his way out. Pretty handy.
It's going to be the GP10 route from the Vladimir as well. Plan here is to rush into the completed Frost Queen's claim as fast as possible, and then you no longer have the killing minions penalty when it comes to getting the quest stacks. And when you get that mini ghost effect 3 times in a fight, you are very, very powerful as the Vladimir. Uses the quest better than almost any other mage, so why it is so highly prized on him.
Yeah, want to try and grab it as early as possible because you do need that 750 gold before it does activate. A little bit harder when you're farming at the same time. That's all right. We'll have that Frost Queen very quickly. Sort of has a lot of things that Vladimir just likes anyway, given the fact that the CDR was added to the Frostfang, so it doesn't even feel that bad to have a passive that isn't able to be utilized necessarily for the money.
It's very gold efficient, and obviously not 100% when you're not going to include mana regen, but it's still not such a gold sink that you still feel good about. The GP10, like you say, good about the CDR early because it's 850 gold and only 500 gold after your starting item for 10% CDR. Old Vladimir builds were the Hextech Revolver early rather than the Kindle Gem early towards the Proto Belt. So you no longer have the Proto Belt early, but you're getting the CDR earlier than usual. Level 7, but 10% CDR, no pushing Vladimir out of lane.
Well, Pawn's going to be able to push him under his turret, at least. He's going to move forward. Crimson Rush just looking for that. Trying to get that extra bit back. That's how you play Vladimir. Just transfuse, transfuse, big transfuse.
And Score will try and solo the Infernal. The answer is yes. Can just ward jump out, so a lot of safety here. Oh, he has the sweeping lens. He has a control ward to jump over, and then one left on the trackers, so he's in good stead here. Banks spotted. Will he walk up to the Drake? We don't see so far. The answer is yes, but it's going to actually be a smite battle.
Yeah, we'll see whether Score can actually grab it. Does. Uses the leap strike as well and flashes to get his way out. Didn't have an extra ward. Oh, he did have an extra ward, but of course used the leap to secure the dragon. Yeah,
used the Q for dragon secure, so gives up his flash. Do see Smab walking down, trying to do some vision clearing, doing a bit of an assist because they know the blank's going to be basically battle warding against the Jacks for a little while now.
Yep. Faker not too worried here in the mid lane to be going down to half health. He is a Vladimir, of course, and does have the Frost Queen's Claim completed. So every time he does damage to Pawn, building up those stacks, getting towards that point where you get that burst of speed.
Wait and see if this is an 8.1 exclusive build for Vladimir. My first thought is yes, because on 8.2 the quest is removed and a Sightstone is added. Could just mean we become League of Vision, and then maybe we'll see even less kills. So I guess that could happen, but I'm going to go glass half full and assume that we'll move away from the GP10 on most of the laners.
Possibly even some of the junglers as well. I feel like that quest was working pretty well for the likes of the Skarner, things like that.
But maybe you can go for a Frostfang early as Nidalee and then just get a red smite rather than a green smite.
Yeah, challenging smite will work on her.
So for junglers, I think there's some latitude, but for laners, it's a little bit less attractive.
Yeah, even chilling smite as well. I mean, I guess that's theoretically the same maneuver. Faker continuing to be aggressive despite the fact that the health advantage goes to Pawn. Still farming up nicely. It's KT's mid laner. It's a scary prospect though. Every time you look at Faker, it looks like he's the one with the plans moving forward.
How about Ezreal in these scenarios where he's against an unsealed spellbook teleport abuser in the bot lane? Is you can just get Iceborne Gauntlet, and then you probably never need to leave lane. You got Tyr and Iceborne Gauntlet for a lot of mana, a lot of wave control as well. Very hard to chunk out, not expecting too much attention from Jarvan and Ornn in the laning phase bot side, so mid lane, Faker's getting frisky.
Emo play goes down, Faker actually wants it, grabs a whole bunch of health back, but in goes Score. Thankfully, pulls there, Faker not going to be taken down. Still has a timepiece. Marta's not even going to be able to add enough, so Pawn gets a free back, they shove the wave in, but now so much vision on this bottom side. Everyone knows exactly what's going on, and Def does need to be careful.
This is the time, if you're Rolex, to get in there and sponsor the stopwatches. You get a lot of lip service during the cast.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what comes first. Probably going to be some adjustments towards some of those utility runes, given that Inspiration has been so dominating as a tree so far. Not in 8.2, those notes online, but not going to be seen in live for a little while. Sorry, competitive for a while. Nice invade from SKT, playing around their pushing lanes, and also the fact that Azir was pushed out. Saw this in Game 2 from SKT, and we see it here as well.
See, Smeb was, doing his very best to try and stop that steal, but no way that Smeb could out-smite the Bramble Smash.
How about some more laning, Atlas?
Yeah, I love laning. I'm a big fan.
Good news. We've got plenty of laning. We do have Infernal into Infernal, though, so that's a bit of hot fire that might be fun to watch.
It's all the excitement that we have available to us.
Sliding scales, unfortunately.
Yep, game very slow, but 400 gold the lead for KT.
Cinderhawk done for Score. Let's see if Pawn and Score actually want to take the Rift Herald.
A lot of damage. You've got the Azir there to add on to it, but
the vision, and so
yeah,
it'll be too much early invitation, and Score decides that clearing out his wolves is higher priority. He just leave that look outstanding all game, as Faker no longer is going to take the role of the defensive side of the lane. He's going to be the aggressor now.
And already has a CS advantage as well, so that's real scary stuff. Deft falling behind here as far as farm on the bottom side. Note that he will be at least at gold parity, given the Kleptomancy.
If we see the ultra late game team fights, it's hard to see SKT losing them. They have so many tools, but
another Hemoplate comes in. Pawn's going to take a fair bit of damage. Yeah.
There's no thought in Faker's mind that he'll get a solo kill, but if he can get a summoner, if he can get lane control, that's enough.
Well, Score's actually going to get chunked out. Knocked up here as well, as Faker really wants to find that Crimson Rush. It's charging up, but in comes Martyr and Deft. Want to be able to find him. Deft actually getting chunked by that Q, as you can see.
Gonna lose a lot of turret HP for this, you'd imagine. The minion wave starting to come to lane. Score's greedy, going for the red buff on a zombie ward. Has not been on the ball with clearing those zombie wards, so a lot of extra information from SKT that Faker's working around. That's why what looks like relentless aggression is actually controlled aggression. And if you let Faker have controlled aggression, he will run away with a lane 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah. Right over the top. And that does mean that the gold becomes completely and utterly even. Top side of the map, Smeb and Tal just doing exactly the same.
Whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, whole lot of nothing. Mid lane CS advantage is sort of answered by Score being ahead in the jungle. And Kleptomancy being taken by Deft means that the gold on the bottom side of the map is incredibly even as well. And this is exactly what we wanted in a game number 3. I know it may not necessarily be a whole lot of action, but what we want is these teams to be playing on a similar level. And it looks right now in every single lane, everything's going the same way. As there's the Fate's call. SKT want to change that situation. The stun comes up. Good arcane shift to get Deft out of the way of the Glacial Fissure, and the teleport going to get cancelled very, very late out of SKT. They utilized that time to try and get a little bit more harassment onto Mata.
Timing was really smart from SKT. Bang saw that Deft, who of course had not shopped, was low on mana. They instantly ulted in onto Mata. Weren't able to get the kill, but get exhaust out of it. Blank was roaming down as well. There was no actual ability for Deft to turn it around because he did not have multiple rotations of spells or Mystic shots, and that means that this is going to be a free Infernal for SKT outside of a Score Magical Steal, and he's not going to do that.
No, not too bothered by that one. That's going to even out the Infernal Drake count, so not a huge deal. True Shot Barrage giving away the fact that Deft did go back to base, but I believe they would have figured that one out anyway. Manamune completed, got some free-ass boots there in his back pocket as well. 4 out of 5. Damn, thrift shopping on the side of KT.
Bit of extra power, but when it comes to gold, only 200 gold is the lead for KT Rolster. No control of mid lane for Pawn in a good matchup. Trying something now, but Faker just ults. Ultimate hat proc.
Yeah. Oh, that timing was stunning. Just predicting exactly when the Emperor's Divide was going to come out.
Never fun to be started upon.
Oh, heal actually baited Faker in there as Pawn. He's going to turn up. Stopwatch is there. Buying time for the pull to come back off cooldown. Will he have it? No, not going to get chased. KT know that he did have that option. 20% CDR, sorry, 30% already built up, so would have had the pull.
Yeah, styling upon Pawn in that regard. Trading up in summoners, getting also the jungler's flash. Faker did it in game 2. He's trying to do it here in game 3. Outclassing Pawn one more time. They keep pushing into mid lane. Score has been trivialized. Very difficult to gank for either the top lane or the mid lane, honestly bot lane. So it's been a farm fest for the Jax. Doesn't play the strengths of the tank jungle Jax. Faker keeps pushing. He grows a CS lead with GP10. He's going to be a lot of the gold for SKT, predictably.
Oh, man, and so much of the damage.
Welcome back to the lane.
Yeah. Has been picked up. There's the Ornn ultimate coming out from Tal, but doesn't find Pawn with it. Was trying to predict that the game of Pong not going to be collected there by Pawn. But Tal easily able just to wander back to the lane. Smeb's not going to be able to stop him from farming, but does give at least KT the opportunity to grab themselves a blue buff here in the mid lane.
Yes, a shoving advantage over his opponent as well. Iceborne Gauntlet probably just going to be Frozen Heart here as the trades get stronger and stronger from SKT in the bot side.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage flies forward. Unbreakable not there for effort, of course, so that's a decent maneuver. Faker's going to be spotted. Counter-Strike's going to be down. In goes Pawn. Picks up the kill. Faker caught shopping 2 weeks in a row.
Exactly. He got caught by the Orbital Strike Redemption, and then once again does all the hard work, and predictably, it's only in the trivialities that Faker is tripped up upon. Big solo mistake. A single mistake decided game 2. Don't know if that's going to decide game 3, but it's the first feel-good moment for KT since we spawned.
That's a disaster, though. You can't be feeling great. Proto Belt's now completed. It's not going to mean that he's going to have any less control of the area, but Pawn gifted 300 gold for nothing.
Faker was deciding between lots of lovely options to Vladimir, then he was dead.
Yeah. And all too easy. Weren't able to grab that. And that was first blood as well, so make that 400 gold.
And this is something that we haven't touched upon, but Faker traditionally has not found success on the Vlad. I remember many Vlad games he's played in good matchups, and what I found with his Vladimir is that normally when you see Faker, do well in lane and then push his advantage to other lanes. His roams are legendary. I've seen him get roamed upon many times as Vladimir, not as relevant with the Azir, but I feel like Faker's been second to a lot of fights as Vladimir that a Ghost Flash user shouldn't be. So historically not a great pick. Still a good start here, still a fantastic laning phase. One small mistake and you start to wonder.
Yeah, Proto Belt's going to be used there by Faker, trying to get on top of Pawn once again, but just going to shift his sands over there and get his way out. Sand skating quite nicely. Here's Pawn. Blade of the Ruined King going to be the next option here for Def. No Trinity Forces this time. But still lagging behind as far as farm. Bang. Well and truly a free lane for the Kalista.
My opinion on teamfights though, and scaling in this game, well, now that we're cementing that we're going to have pretty even item parity when we hit items, is that SKT's teamfight is a lot more straightforward. Atlas, waiting for the Devour here, but it's the Arcane Shift.
Oh, Faker's actually in trouble. Oh, not going to go into the Sanguine Pool, so Pawn unable to bait that one out as there's the pull finally coming in. Oh, the Emperor's Divide, not enough. Cataclysm can't be cancelled. Pawn, Score, trying to get himself out, is going to move out of the way. Stopwatch is going to be used, gets out of the way of at least the Ram. But speaking of getting rammed, he's going to get smacked on by Faker. Picks it up with a Transfuse. Man in the mid lane gets some revenge.
Yeah, Faker had the latitude to go forward. Let's see if there's enough damage here from Spam. You'd think not. On the Maokai, it looked like Faker was out of position, but the first collapse happened. That's why he was pushed up. First turret of the game, first brick in the mid lane is even bigger for SKT. He may have made a mistake a few minutes ago, but they trade up massively in that regard.
We have to remember that, I mean, that was just first blood going down. That was the only thing that came in. This time, that tower able to go down. Faker here just gets his way back.
Nothing that Pawn can do. The ultimate will always register from the Jarvan. So he was always going to be dead in that regard. Overchased though. They could have just taken the early chunk and backed away, but when you pick up one kill, you feel hungry for the second one. And hunger is punishment on the side of KT. After the extended turret dive actually puts them ahead in kills. Faker shows up with 3 items already compared to 1.5. On the side of KT. That's what happens when you have GP10 rolling.
Yeah, and the Zhonya's plus Proto Belt are both of the extra buttons that Vladimir desperately wants as quickly as possible. Thank you very much, Stopwatch, but that's a one-use thing. Now he's just got it on a minute or so cooldown. Proto Belting forward again. Faker understanding his damage windows really nicely on the Vlad. Never questioning his ability to play out the champion in lane, like you said, more about getting around the map, and that's exactly what he's going to do right now.
I wonder if a game like this means we'll see more of Tal, as I'll hold the point for now.
Yep, Smev is actually down here, though, looking for his opportunity to get in there. There's the Nature's Call, getting himself on top. We've got the Ram coming back. Nice double knock-up as it's Marta that falls down first. Score can't find his way in. There's the flash to get on top of the Kalista, and Pawn, he turns up as well. We've got Emperor's Divide being waited to be used. Can he get the priority targets though? Effort incredibly low. Pawn, lots of consistent damage, but the shifting sand's not going to get him too much further forward. In goes Faker. The Sanguine Pool's there, not going to find anything. Are the Sand Soldiers, and now it's Bang jumping forward. He's at full health. SKT have utilized so much depth. True Shot Barrage, so much damage, and that's going to be able to pick up Blank. There are still 2 dead though. KT don't have a lot of their damage available as Pawn has hit the Death Chamber. Sanguine Pool once again, but I think the Faker might just fall here. Slowed down. Counter-Strike will be used in time. Yes, it will, and Score's going to be able to grab that kill. Faker being a little bit too tricky.
A bit of a botched team fight there from KT. If you watch the bottom side of it, Smeb was happy feeding left and right, wasn't ever actually able to get in, so wasn't really a factor on the Maokai. I thought it would be a bigger loss for them. But first Blank, then Faker go too far. Invite, they see the low mana bar and they think, okay, Def can't be involved. But with this many mana items, he still has multiple arcane shifts and mystic shots. It spares some blushes from KT. It gets them the Infernal as well. So they do end up slightly winning. Watch the replay and notice that Smeb ults in. That's, of course, his first contribution. They pile in, great use of the Pong and also the Jarvan scores out of the fight. Smeb from the rest of this is down out of the fight as well. It's very, very extended. SKT feel comfortable because they see the low mana bar on Def, but Smeb is no longer a factor. I thought the fact that he wasn't involved was going to be the real big punishment, but Pawn goes aggressive, does consistent damage, SKT re-engage. There's still no Smeb. He never gets back into the fray. Bang gets a single kill. Smeb again is zoned out, but the turn here surprised them. The fact that Def could pop a mana potion, get back in, first kill onto Blank, second kill when Faker walks down trying to buy time for his team. So extended, but even without the Maokai, KT are able to slightly squeak out ahead.
Yeah. It's frightening stuff. And actually watching over that fight again, the Emperor's Divide, I felt didn't look like it really did too much because he didn't wait for the end of the Sanguine Pull, but what it felt like he was trying to do is just provide a wall that no one could actually get over. Give KT a free disengage, but left a little bit of a hole on the bottom side, meaning that the follow-up was there. True Shot Barrage, of course, denied by the Unbreakable.
Story as old as time between Unbreakable and True Shot Barrage. So every meta, since Braum and Ezreal have both been around, I think back to the mid lane Ezreal days, and that was still the story.
Yep.
SKT have the easier to execute comp. They can very easily go for the wombo that we saw with the Jarvan and the Ornn, as Score finds his opposite number in the jungle. KT have a more tricky one, Atlas. They have to get out of the initial burst and then reset and have SKT still be committing for specifically Azir to do damage. Otherwise, going to be kited out. We've seen some Azirs in recent memory. That's why with SKT in a good foothold, 2,000 gold up, you do favor SKT, but there are ways to make KT's comp work. What they have is the more reliable pick power. They have the Maokai teleport. Getting control wards, getting vision supremacy is the best way for KT to win the late game, because if they just run at each other 5v5, I think SKT wins many more than 50%.
Yeah. Even with Smeb picking up the Maokai, mostly just so that he could try and get the Twisted Advance onto Bang. There's the concussive blows. Deft having to be a little bit careful here. Dodges out of the way of one, but there's the Ornn. Mata having to use the Devour, but triple knockup as the Pong gets bounced back. Another Emperor's Divide that's left a bit wanting. Flashes from everyone as Mata is going to be taken down. Deft already dead, and SKT should be able to move to a Baron. Score, can he try and get some sort of steal? I don't know. 3 versus 5, it's a tough call.
Teamfight Dogpile does beat KT Rolster. Def dies with both his summoners up. Probably thought the heal at minimum would have come out. Let's see how the goaltending is done here. Baron at 6,000.
Yeah, remember, 26-minute Baron, not exactly the latest one in the game, so it's going down slowly. A lot of damage potential here from Pawn. They're actually going for it as Tal makes his way in. They're committing to the Baron. They get rid of Tal first. The Ren stacks are going to be torn out, but are they going to survive? 4 versus 3. KT getting kited for the moment. Blank able to wait for the flag and drag, and SKT, they sacrifice their top laner, but they get the Baron at 26 minutes.
Yeah, they make the percentage play, Atlas. They put faith in the Smite and Rend duo. They get the big objective to justify the setup. We're going to see a replay here. Deft at the start wants them to hold on to Devour. You don't see a Devour, but the problem is Devour is no match for the call of the Forge God. You can't get away from this unless you flash early. Didn't have flash up. Deft dies with his summoners available, and then Maokai only has single target outside of the ultimate. So easy for SKT to execute, like we said. Easy to execute, can be so strong at the top level because all these players are very talented, but the reliability means that if you choose the right engage, it's going to go more often than not like that, Atlas and SKT. A couple of team fights away from winning our first telecom war.
Yeah. 2 items now on the man in the mid lane for KT. Pawn, 2-2-1, decent scoreline, but...
Oh, look at this build though, it's very low damage also. Yeah. Banshee Veil and Nashor's Tooth. Won't be doing any chunking, not the sort of build that you'd see Faker go on Azir, would get a Void Staff, would try to be a battler, will be healing Tal in many ways with his damage, unfortunately, because it is so low damage, whereas Faker is ready to go and then some. 5 items already complete, cheaper build because of the GP10, but Void Staff as well. Very difficult to see them get anything out of Pawn until the very late game.
Well, it will be strong, but I mean, the plays he's been making as well, Papa, it's not the Azir that we saw in game number 2. And of course, it's hard to be Faker, but it's a bit rough because he begs the comparison. It's just not the high impact.
Yeah, look, there's another game where it's a squishy lineup from SKT and Azir can blow them away, but double locket complete. The frontline Ornn is certainly not going to be taking any damage. Warmogs on blank. Very difficult for them to actually get value out of Azir, who was already getting kited at the best of times. The map control completely with SKT, as Toll just wants to take away the blue buff. He will.
Yep, we're trading ultimates though. Kitty Cat's flying across the rift. I like it. Rams versus Cats. I think I know who wins that one, because one of them's much bigger and has hooves. Certainly did happen as the blue was taken. And it seems that the solo laners from SKT having a field day in this 1-3-1 scenario. Lots of vision being pushed up towards the bottom side, and that's where the 3 members of SKT are going to be focused. Sand Soldier's doing some work, but Unbreakable, of course, helping the Braum.
Already one Ornn item upgraded, so it seems like Toll just want to spend 500 gold to get the improved magic resist and armor on the Locket. SKT going to get an uninterrupted Drake. No way to interrupt this. Only 30 seconds left on the Baron, so didn't even crack the inhibitor turrets with this one, but gold lead is there. It's not massive, it's 4,500. It's still a feel-good moment for SKT. You just feel like one more Hemo Plague on 3 members and a free hitting bang represents death for KT Rolster.
Now another needlessly large rod done for Faker as well. Smeb, he's looking to go home. It's just so hard to lock down Faker. The man's 1, 2, and 5. He has died a couple of times, but 6 out of 6 in the kill contribution. He's been there for everything. And that's what we wanted to see improve. Getting him around the map, getting him into these skirmishes, and if 100% kill contribution tells you anything, it's that he's been there.
I do like the Toll also. You know, I mentioned the improved Locket. Note that he has a Locket. Tank's getting Locket ever since he got health scaling was very big. Both these teams have good AoE. Pawn, the chief offender on the side of KT, the Vladimir, of course, and the Kalista, the big ones on SKT. There is no Locket on the side of KT. Smeb has gone for selfish stats. Also, Score has gone for selfish stats, so they have no ability to help Deft and Pawn get through. Now, Pawn does have magic resist from the Banshee Veil, so they've all gone selfish, whereas you have a lot of team statistics on the side of SKT. And from memory, the Ornn evolved Locket does not stack with the regular Locket in a negative way. You don't get the diminishing returns that are considered different items by the game. So they're actually going to get full value out of 2 Lockets, which also further explains why we saw it upgraded early by the Ornn.
And I know that we don't know the name of it, so I'm not actually going to talk about the
Mega
real
Locket.
Name. Is it the Locket of the Gold Solari, as opposed to the Iron one? Or do you want to go up 1 level, you know? Locket of the Platinum Solari?
I'm going to give you another go at this joke. It wasn't good. Try again.
Should I wait a bit?
No, just now. We got nothing happening, so what's the name of the item, Atlas?
Locket of the Titanium Solari?
Okay, I give up on you. Let's get back to the game. You've got nothing to give me here.
Sorry, Mr. Friend. Sorry. I still don't know what your one is. Locket of the Awesome Solari, is that what you said? That's not
I didn't have to contribute.
You're not even
you did all the talking.
You're not even getting
me,
a stronger metal.
No.
Okay, never mind.
KT just want to find a foothold here. They have no vision line to really talk of. A couple of isolated wards in their blue buff. No control of their top side. They're being starved out of resources against SKT, which is another story as old as time. See Mata walking up. There's a degree of risk just going as far as he did. Could have just seen the Kalista ultimate and then potentially his doom. KT trying to find a way to get their own jungle camp, so that seems impossible. They turn on to Mata. They crowd KT out of their own jungle. The Goldie will only grow in this scenario.
Yeah. Def trying to get some poke damage in here as Effort sets up the Unbreakable. Blank doesn't take too much damage, and Tal waiting in the wings. They get the ward down first. There's the charge. Unable to get the lockdown, and that's just a Brambleback that will be stolen away. In fact, leashed. As there's the call of the Forge God. They're looking for a good double knockup. Comes out from Tal, but the Nature's Grasp is there. Faker right in the back line. The exhaust comes in, and Tal grabs the first kill onto Score. SKT, another double knockup. Tal's a massive massive beast on this Forge God himself. Will be taken down low, though. That was a good Shurima shuffle coming in from Pawn. Make that a double kill, a triple. Pawn's turned it on. He's figured it out. And now Deft once more. He's got no health, but they want to clean this one up. Pawn, can he make it a quadra? Effort in trouble. Unbreakable. It's not that unbreakable, sir, but we don't have the cooldowns, and Pawn's not going to follow up. KT, they find the window.
SKT thought that was their winning moment. They saw the highlight package with it after the game, but it wasn't. They spent too long in Pawn Sandsoldier. Since we last looked, he has a Needless Large Rod and the Void Staff. Even through double locket, they're able to take them down, and this is going to be an inhibitor against the run and play by KT Rolster.
That is one of the first times in a telecom war I've seen an overreach from SKT.
And look at this. I say inhibitor. KT says no. We want the Baron. We do not want to be exposed. Taking inhibitor, recalling, and having SKT take Baron. So they're going to take an inhibitor turret only and guarantee themselves a Baron. That's a very restrained thing to do. Not taking a naked inhibitor when you can, but they prize the Baron, and they know they can return to the inhibitor in a few moments.
They also know that SKT have an incredible Baron-taking composition with the fact that they do have the Kalista. Let's see this again and see where it all goes wrong for SKT.
Again, it looks so straightforward. Dev's knocked up, he's not going to do any damage. Vladimir's in the backline. GG SKT, right? No. Watch what happens as this goes on. A lot of damage is dumped onto Smeb, but Pawn gets into his own base, and the Cataclysm, notice that through the Cataclysm, he's doing damage the entire time. The soldiers, he's in safety. No one can get to Pawn. He's actually helped out by Blank's Cataclysm, and they mow everyone down. The Void Staff and the Nizar's Rod puts him over the edge. That's the late game Azir everyone thought would be kited out at this point in the game. SKT bit off more than they can chew. I didn't think it was possible, but it happened.
Yep, and this time we've got a Rabbidan's Death Cap on top of Pawn as well. So
boy.
if they disrespect that again, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Even with this Hex Drinker available for Deft, it means that this chunking that Faker's been putting down on him with these Crimson Rushes, with his transfusions, not going to be hurting as much this time. So it all just gets a little bit better for KT, and they've got the Baron buff.
Every SKT fan was ready to talk about the victory. They may still get. They're still in a great position. But this Baron buff isn't being used for them to just take one inhibitor. They want two out of it, Atlas. They're going to a third turret. Vladimir is going to go for a long walk, but will be spotted by wards. KT continue to push up.
Now, KT with a little bit more reliable damage as well, I guess, as we move towards the late game, but Faker's trying to prove me wrong here. Hemoplague, we'll see how many people it's actually going to get on top of, as Marta is going to be able to spit out Deft. They've got the Locket of the Iron Solari, it's doing some work. Smeb, he's at really high health. Sand Soldier's doing work, but it's not anymore. Pawn's going to be taken down, and the Sanguine pulls in there. Make it now a triple kill for SKT as they move further forward. And KT, they're the ones to overextend this time.
There's no safety for Azir in terrain like that. They spotted out Faker, could not fully disengage, don't have a Tom Kench for the entire team. And that means that SKT will actually pick up an inhibitor of their own. Watch the replay here. Remember that the terrain was so important for Pawn to be able to be free in the backline. But before the Forge God comes on, Deft is disengaged, but then scores out of position. Everyone's out of position when we finally see the flank from Faker. This time the Cataclysm seals the doom of Azir rather than being the walls of life. They take down the front line, they take down the DPS. When we get back to live, we'll see the effect on the base. It's only an inhibit turret again, so again restraint being shown. Pawn still 5 seconds away. SKT have their eyes on the Elder Dragon.
Exactly the same play, but mirrored to the other side of the map, Papa. The Elder Dragon will be going down in favor of SKT, who will once again, oh man, catches it. Effort, pretty good at playing Pong. He's got Tal there, of course. Tal has set himself up for that ability. This call of the Forge God, but Def not going to be able to go for a steal, so exactly the same play. And now SKT back in the same position that they were earlier.
And even with Tal and Effort in the lineup, you know, a handful of competitive games between the two players, very, very young. Everyone knows their role on SKT. Effort knows his role is to deny there being a steal, and all he had to do was unbreakable the Ezreal ultimate, and that part would be guaranteed. I love seeing that SKT can play with the members, play with the lineup, but still have that same understanding. So, great job by him in that regard after being caught out a few times in Game 1 especially. SKT, with this team comp, are still in the lead. It's oh so close. 1 minute 30 left on the Elder Dragon.
Well, Bang actually has a stopwatch still available to him. on this Kalista.
Guardian Angel doesn't provide that much stats for the cost, and he already has a stopwatch, so probably smart to go into the double lifesteal.
Already has at least the Bloodthirster and the Makura Scimitar. We'll see where he... Well, actually, triple lifesteal. So, next one probably going to be a Last Whisper. There's a lot of armor now being built up by the tanky members of KT.
Faker's at 6 items and upgraded his Orin item, so as decked out as he can be, short of a elixir being picked up. Doesn't have one right now.
Zonya's Mega Watch.
We saw Pawn in a game similar to this start with the upgraded Zonias and then change it for Deathcap, knowing that his role was to need to do more damage in the late game. And the Orin pass will be relevant in the late game, given there's 5,000 gold worth of stats that won't be available this side of KT.
Deft, speaking of 6 items, finished off his Maw of Malmortius.
Pretty low damage build, though, has had to go for the Maw of Malmortius, knowing that magic damage is going to chip at him one way or the other. Can't really kite away a Vladimir.
Well, here's another call. It's going to get Marta. They're going for the Tahm Kench by the looks, but
going for the inhibitor.
Continue that one. It's, inhibitor already down to half health. Sand Soldiers positioning themselves actually away, giving a lot of opportunity for SKT to get free damage on this inhib. Counter-Strike just going to be waited out. SKT playing patiently, not able to take down the inhibitor just yet. Waiting for the next minion wave. Another Unbreakable will be there to stop the minions from moving forward. And Faker, he's going to move his way out.
5 seconds on the Elder Dragon, but and they're worried about that. Like you say, the minion wave more important.
Yep, Score actually going to take this opportunity to jump himself in, but not going to find too much more. Deft off to the other side is going to be okay. Zombie Ward's eaten up, and SKT unable to take down the inhibitor, but it's down so low. We'll be regenning slowly.
Had the PTSD from the last time there was a fight around this area of the map where Pawn single-handedly was able to carry KT over the line. Means they don't get the inhibitor. You just have to love how we have this parity between the two sides. Both of them, no inhibitor in the mid lane, but no inhibitors have been down. Resting over to 40 minutes in the game. An extra Infernal Drake is great, but the Ornn upgrades also is extra stats to the side of SKT that cannot be answered by KT. So much parity 40 minutes into our first of many telecom wars in 2018. SKT looking significantly better than the team that could not beat Jin Air. KT Rolster also looking better, so it's good to see both showing improvement. Whichever team wins will have the bragging rights, but the fans of the losing team will at least be able to say they saw more out of their telecom team than they did in week 1.
Yeah. It feels like it happens every single time. It doesn't matter about what the form is. It's always a fantastic series. You always see the mind games because these teams have been playing against each other for so long. The matchup has such a great name. 40 minutes in, still could go either way, but 6,000 gold is the lead for SKT.
Look at this. Actually sold the stopwatch for a upgraded Black Cleaver. That was... if this was a quiz game, that was not one of the responses Ornolt's used.
Yep. Well, the Forge God doesn't find anyone, though. It's in goes Faker to get it around the back. There's the Cataclysm. Emperor's Divide is dodged by Faker. He has his Zonyas as well, doing so much damage. But KT, they may have turned it around. Deft picks up the kill onto Faker, and now they're moving forward. SKT all grouped up. Sand Soldiers ripping them apart. And do we have the chase available? Score has the flash. He's got the Counter-Strike, but he gets slowed down. Marta, he's gone so far forward, and Smeb is going to get delivered. Bang, still dancing around the team fight. Remember, 4 versus 5. Make that 3. As Pawn grabs the kill onto Tal at the same time. This should definitely be inhibitor. Can it be more?
Faker thought he had his moment. The EQ onto Deft almost one-shot him through the damn Maw of Malmortius. It wasn't enough. KT is smelling victory here. Vlad is dead. Can they end the game?
20 seconds on Faker, 40 seconds on Tal. 5 versus 3, but Bang is still alive. In goes Score. They're looking for more. They get the pushback. Pawn in so much trouble under the turret, but Deft gets rid of Bang. This could be the ace for KT. SKT are aced. The Nexus turrets are taken down, and KT create history in 2018.
KT pull off the highway robbery on the SKT hype train. It looked like it would be history, but we said the one thing different was the year had changed. KT Rolster never picked up a best of 3 with this roster in 2017, and then 2 team fights, and fittingly, 2 mistakes from Faker have cost 2 best of 3s. It was the Kha'Zix solo kill in the 94-minute extravaganza, and now he smelt blood. He almost one-shot Deft, but he was